And it's cool if you...
I'm a fan. I'm just saying. Dragon Ball Z, dude. And, like, you spirit bomb my heart.
Thank you, man. I have seen almost every episode.
Really?
Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. My son got me into it when he was 7 years old. We were at the Toys R Us, and he just saw the cover, and he's like, I want that. And it's like, and you're not supposed to show kids this until they're 13, which is ridiculous. But it was a really good time for me to talk to my son about what it is to be a man, actually. Which is like, you should be like Goku, son. Goku is a humble guy. He's not all strutting around saying, look at my muscles and all that junk, you know? He's a real man. He's a peaceful man. He just wants to take care of his kids. But if you attack his family, he will kill you 3 times. Yeah. And I think that that's a much better template for manhood than what a lot of movies give us, frankly.
No, I'm just a huge fan, and Piccolo's my favorite character.
Me too.
So I was excited for you to play when that was soft.
I know. I know, man. What are you gonna do? I was told it was a $100 million picture and Stephen Chow would be producing. I get down to Mexico, it's a $30 million picture. No one's met Stephen Chow, he's on his own paper, and I got no stuntman. But it was just fun to film though, I gotta say that. Boom.
I wanted to ask you, you refer to yourself as romantic. What kind of gesture or action do you consider to be romantic?
If you need a volunteer, I'm here.
Well, I am a romantic. I think almost anything to be romantic. I think anytime that you reach out and you show that you care about someone and you can help them with something that's important, whether that's a big thing or a little thing, it could be just doing the dishes, you know? Or it could be noticing that your lover noticed something in the window and picking it up later and getting it for her. Just noticing where they're really at. I visited my girlfriend about 6 months ago, and she was producing a fashion show. She was so busy. So I was like the housewife. I cooked for her, I did the laundry, I did the dishes and all that stuff, because I used to produce, and I know what it's like. And your personal life just falls apart. And you come to a point where you haven't had clean socks in months, and you can't even eat anymore because there's no dishes left. But she found that to be highly romantic. So it's not always roses. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have my watch waiting for you at home then.
Right on. Hey.
Hi. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to see you. I was wondering if you could jam with a musician. Who would you jam with? That you would really like to play with? Living or dead?
Wow, only one? That's hard because I got a big list, but I don't. Ry Cooder, Tom Waits, Robert Johnson, Kurt Cobain maybe, but I don't know if I want to talk to him. We just and frankly, my son, who I find to be a very interesting musician. He's got 12 songs here, and they're very good. And he's fast. He's so fast. It makes me feel like I can't even play guitar anymore. Yeah. Welcome. I'm supposed to look for the microphone. I'm sorry.
I'm a little short.
No, but you're beautiful.
Hello, James.
Hey, doesn't it feel good? I have the power.
I just want to know, what was it like working with Julie Benz, and have you spoken to her since she's been on Dexter?
Where's Julie now?
On Dexter.
On where?
She played Dexter, the,
Oh, wow, good for her.
she plays his
Julie was fabulous. She scared me before I knew her very well. I was over on Angel. She's like, she had this saying, "Baby gets what baby wants," and I was like, "Uh-oh, no. But but that wasn't it at all. She's very, very nice. Yeah, she's very playful, very fun, and never loses energy. Yeah. I didn't get to work with her very much, though. I only really shot a couple weeks with her, but she was always wonderful, yeah. Dexter, that's cool. I think I didn't get cast on that show once.
Hi, James.
Hello.
I have a request that I made for Juliet Linda last time I saw her at the con. Could you do the Spike voice?
No, I don't do the Spike voice because you've got to pay me. I don't understand what it is. Year after year. Do you even do it anymore? Does that even sound like it anymore? What? You still got it. I think I'll keep doing this for a while.
Hi, I just want to know what it was like working with Tom Welling, and are you back on Smallville anytime soon?
Working with Tom is fabulous. Tom is so much like that character, except he's way more intelligent than you'd expect. And he's a little bit nastier than you might expect. But in a very good way, not in an uncomfortable way, but he's got a couple of rival jokes that he'll pull out about midnight. Right on. Yeah, he's also a really good director. He directed, and for the first time I did the episode where he directed for the first time, and the whole crew was kind of nervous about it, because first time director, he's an actor, and they were thinking, oh God, and all this. He was so good that the crew were coming up to me saying, can you talk to the producer and get Tom again this season, but get him late in the season when we're really tired and we have to have a good director. We need someone to save us at the end of the season, so please put the pressure on. Yeah, he was fabulous. As far as going back to Smallville, I'd love to, if there's any time this year, but I might be busy up in Caprica. But the thing is that my manager, Steve, got them to pay me the most that they've ever paid a guest star in the history of the network. And so they talk about me a lot, but they don't really use me that much because it's expensive.
Do you go back to Torchwood?
Oh, I go back to Torchwood in a heartbeat. I'm a subversive artist, which means, like when I was producing theater, what a subversive artist means is that there's a lot, and I'm going to come over here because we're not really getting to this side very well. My coffee over there. What a subversive artist does, it's like we're told lies by each other while we're growing up. You know, like only rich people count, old people got nothing interesting to say, women can't drive. All of this stuff is kind of injected into us before we can really think for ourselves. And so subversive artist is trying to rip down those illusions and those lies. We're not trying to rip down all of society and rip down the good stuff. We're just trying to clear away all the junk. And so the subversive artist gets excited when he upsets people, because that's what happens when you start ripping people's illusions down. They get upset about it. So I was doing an interview for the BBC the second time I went back to Torchwood, and they say, so what do you think of the homophobic backlash against the Torchwood? What do you think of the homophobic backlash? And I went, there's a backlash? There's a backlash? And they talked about it, and apparently there's a lot of people who were fans of Who that just don't like all the sexual content on Torchwood. But at that point, I was like, get me on this show all the time. We're pissing all the right people off. Sorry about my language, but yeah, so I would love to go back. But they only did 5 episodes. They
Gotta be on
Like, if you do another miniseries, there might not be room for the cast.
That's the thing, yeah. I don't know.
I hope they pick it up for a full season, so definitely back.
Yeah, I would love. I know, I only did 2 episodes, but I got an action figure out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the cute girl in the back? Okay.
Hello. Have you seen Dollhouse yet? And will you be in it soon?
Man, I cannot be counted on for television shows. I'm like a really horrible boyfriend who says he's going to be there, and doesn't show up, gets the phone number, and I don't even know when that show's on. I'm usually traveling, and I haven't seen it yet. It seems like a cool setup, though. It's cool to play different characters every week. Wish I was doing it. But yeah, but yeah, I've got a lot of shows that I love, but I just never see them. Like I saw an episode of 24, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. But I'm never really, I can't be counted on.
Hello, James. It is finally time for Sci-Fi Channel to play High Plains Invaders on Sunday. Can you tell us what it was like working on that show when you played Cowboy again? Was it fun? It's an alien western.
Fun. There was parts of it that were fun, but it was a tough shoot. It was a very cold shoot. We did it in Romania. And if you're ever in Romania, it ain't Romania. You better say Romania. They're very proud people. Very proud. We shot it on a set that they used for Cold Mountain, so it was a really good set. It was a real cowboy town out in the middle of a mud patch. But what that meant was there was nowhere to get out of the cold. They would have an actor holding area, but it would be in some wooden shack with no insulation. It would be just as cold there as anywhere. The director was really cool, I have to say. Chris was a really good director. That's probably all I should say. The other actors were also wonderful. Yeah, all of the whole cast was really nice to work with. And in general, I had a really good time. And my son saw it, and he thought it was great. And he's very judgmental. So I thought it was pretty cool. I think it's like a really fun, slightly cheesy cowboy movie. But how can it not be cheesy when you have bug aliens attacking a cowboy town? But I think it's fairly well rounded. Yeah, I like watching it. I've seen it twice. I'm drinking coffee now, guys. I'm sorry.
Hi, James.
Hello.
I know that you worked with Anthony Stewart Head on Buffy, and I was wondering, did you see Repo the Genetic Opera? And if so, would you like to work with him on any of the things like that?
You guys know so much more things. So many more things. I don't know anything. Repo the what?
The Genetic Opera. He worked with Sarah Brightman, Alexa Vega.
Is this a stage play, or is this not?
No, it started off as a stage play, but eventually they brought it into a movie setting DVD. It's very good if you have the opportunity to see it. Anthony does great work singing. Would you ever work with him or have?
I would work with Anthony in a heartbeat. I think, if he hadn't have been on that show, I don't know that I would have clued into the needs of film acting. Because I was really coming from stage, and I was really kind of overacting in the beginning, which I kind of got away with because I was playing a vampire. So they're kind of dramatic, and you can kind of get away with that. But like I remember one time, a lot of people have heard this before, but at one point, Josh came up to me after about 5 episodes, and I thought I was doing really well, and he was mad. And he goes, "Can I have a little less Laurence Olivier, a little more Tim Roth, please?" Just walked away. I'm like, oh God, I'm so fired. But it was really watching Tony. I mean, I remember, because like the first time I worked with Tony, I was like, would somebody give him a cup of coffee? And I was like, come on, man, he's not doing anything. And then I saw the footage, and he was doing everything. And it was all there. So I really kind of tried to get into his zone. And seriously, if he hadn't been there, I probably would be overacting and all that stuff now.
I'll bring you a coffee drink.
Yeah, would you? I would like that. I would like that.
Hi. How did you like playing Buzz Aldrin?
Oh. So fabulous. He has been my hero since he walked on. I remember coming to school the day after the moon landing. No, it wouldn't have been the day after. It was the first day of school the next year. And everybody was all about Neil Armstrong. And I think it was because everybody was all about Neil Armstrong that I chose Buzz. Or maybe it was a cooler name, because I really didn't know anything about it. What's that?
It's a lot more fun.
Yeah, Buzz is I think a more interesting person.
Yeah.
I had the time of my life. We shot that in Lithuania. Yeah. Okay. which was kind of funny because we were doing this movie about the Cold War, and we got to beat the Russians, But all of the day players and the extras were from Lithuania, so they all sound kind of Russian. So we're like talking about beating the Russians. Guys like, we've got to beat the Russians. We got to do it. I found out that I have a phobia too. It was also a hardship, I have to say, with really wonderful people. I used to think that I don't have enough fear. Because I've got myself in trouble, like going into situations that other people would shy away from, instinctually knowing that would be stupid if you do that. But I was always the stupid one. But I found out that I had a fear of smothering. And the thing is those helmets, in the beginning, they have two helmets. One is a bubble that goes over your face and it's almost skin tight. It's just like this, right? And then you have the big one that everyone's familiar with. But we didn't always have oxygen. We didn't have air circulating inside that helmet all the time. They tried to when they could, but it wasn't possible for a lot of shots. So we would really get lightheaded, and I'd start to feel prickles on my skin, and I would have this dream every night where I'd be submerged in a river or a stream or something, and I'd be 1 inch from the surface, but my feet would be grounded so that I couldn't get up, and I just couldn't get to the air. And then I'd have that dream, get up, go to work, put the bubble on. But the thing is that I think the other two actors were experiencing the same thing. Because when they first put the bubble on, one of the actors didn't freak out. He just went, "That's enough, get me out. And we had to kind of stop, and because they're bolted in. You can't just take it off. He was just really embarrassed that he had done that. And all of us realized that we can't freak out because we're going to freak out the other two actors. So I think that kind of put us into the position of being what it would have been like in that capsule, because I'm sure that they were all having certain feelings, fear or whatever, but they're not going to show it because they don't want to let their mates down.
And they couldn't say cut.
Yeah, and they couldn't say cut. Yeah. But I mean, just little things like, their space